Simon Davis with It's a Fencer's Life, Lessons from the Trenches.
Have you been putting off building an email list for your small business? It might be costing you more than you think. This episode dives deep into why list building is essential for small business owners, especially those in the fencing industry. We'll explore the often overlooked risks of ignoring this critical strategy and highlight the competitive edge an engaged audience can bring to your business. Join us today as we unpack the real-world examples, actionable insights, and expert advice tailored specifically for the fencing contractors and entrepreneurs. You'll hear from industry leaders who share how list building transformed their businesses and pick up step-by-step tips on starting your list entirely from scratch, even if you're new to email marketing. By the end of the episode, you'll have a blueprint to kickstart your list building efforts and a clear understanding of the long-term effects this can bring to your brand. Don't wait. Start creating valuable connections with your audience today. Take action now. Tune in and learn how to grow, engage, and reap the benefits of a solid email list. G'day guys, Simon here from A Profitable Fencer. This is A Fencer's Life, Lessons from the Trenches. Today, we're talking about avoiding making a list and why this is killing your business. So from zero to loyal fans, how to build a powerful customer list that drives your business forward. Do you know exactly where your next customer is coming from, or are you leaving it all up to chance? Today, we're talking about something that could make or break your business, and it's called list building. Stick around because this is one episode you do not want to miss. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Simon Davis, and on today's episode, we're tackling one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools in business today, the customer list. Whether you're a small contractor, consultant, or running a large operation, your business thrives on relationships, and there's no better way to build them than with a strong list. Trust me, if you're not actively building one, you're leaving a lot of money on the table and opportunity also on the table. We'll break down why this list building is crucial, uncover the risks of neglecting it, and take you through quick, actionable steps on how to start building your list today. Plus, I'm sharing two stories that illustrate just how transformational list building can be. Sound good? Alrighty, let's get started. Now, this is purely based on my experience as a fencing contractor of nearly 30 years and going back to the early 90s or late 90s, I suppose, or early 90s when the internet kicked off and email started around mid-90s to late 90s. We didn't know how to use or make a list. The list building is something predominantly that servicemen and technicians, we don't specifically do, and this could actually really be detrimental to your business moving forward. For you new starters, with the technology we've got today, making a list is actually really beneficial for you guys and can really fast track your growth in business. So why is list building crucial? And sorry guys, I am reading notes. I've taken a lot of notes on this. I've done a lot of research. At this stage, you're just going to have to sort of persevere with me looking up and down from the screen if you're watching this, so I do apologise. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive into why building a list is absolutely essential for your business. There's a few points here that I've got that will be absolutely crucial for your business, and one of them is the first one that I can see for us is that it is your direct access to your audience. So having a customer list is your direct line of communication. Unlike social media, where algorithms decide who sees posts, and a list ensures your message lands in the inbox of potential and existing customers. You own this relationship and there's no middleman involved. So what that means, guys, for you is that you own a list, and you have a list of what you've done, people looking for work to be commenced or your specific service, and people are sending you emails and their information, and you should be storing it and using this to your advantage. There's no middleman, so like the algorithms in Facebook and Instagram and targeted marketing and things like that, and showing it to only certain people, you own this list of basically warm to hot customers or hot leads that have already come to you for a service, for a quote, for an estimate. Possibly you've won some of these jobs and they have become clients or hot customers, and there's no middleman. You don't have to share this list with anybody. Having a list allows you to nurture relationships over time. So it's not just about making the sale, it's about turning one-time buyers into lifelong loyal customers. Now, this is also something that I have struggled with personally over my years of fencing, and because my mentality and my mindset was that if I did a good enough job for a set client, I didn't have to go back and rebuild their fence because the fence would last for 20 years. I built my reputation on doing this and building those relationships. And then I started to chase a different type of clientele where I would have more sort of continuous work like councils or counties, shires, where you would have ongoing work, commercial work, working with builders, certain people that would be more repeat customers or developers that they would move from job to job, developing different things. So the relationship building of having that list and re-engaging that list to talk to these people, to know that I was still around, was crucial, but something I never really thought of. So moving on to the next step, having a list that you've grown and that is yours and you don't have to share, marketing to that specific list is has far less cost than continuously acquiring new customers. So you can have all your list here, sitting here. You haven't talked to them for a while. You can send them a newsletter. Re-engage is cheaper than trying to run ads, trying to find new clients over on this side. So it makes sense to run the return, the ROI, return on the investment is massive. You're not just randomly throwing money at ads, hoping that they will stick and hoping that you've got your target client right. And it's pretty predictable. Your list becomes your safety net when sales dip, as they do. As I mentioned, business is cyclical. It runs, it ebbs and flows. It goes up, it goes down. You could be doing extremely well 1 month, and then the next month you are not. You could have a bumper blasting financial year, and the next year you could make massive losses. It runs like that for some reason. I don't know the answers to that, but it does happen. It could be government change, it could be president change or a prime minister change. It could be based on political opinions. It could be based on federal money and allocation of costs. It could be a range and myriad of things. It could be inflation. Everything is changing all the time. It could be pandemics. There's so many things that change all the time, and it affects us massively. So your list becomes a safety net. And when sales dip or external factors impact your business, you can reach out to your existing customers with a promotion or a new offer to generate revenue very, very quickly. So I want you to think about this for a moment. How would your business change if you had a list of 1,000 engaged people who were eager to hear from you? Now, I'm not talking about open rates and all that in email, and that there's a lot of speculation about that, and there's a lot of history and a lot of data around that. That's above my pay grade. Don't want to go into that. But for example, if you had 1,000 engaged people who wanted to hear from you, and or say 10% opened up your emails, that's 100 people opened up your emails. So, another 1% or another 10% bought, decided to take you up on an offer. That's another 10 clients that you didn't have for maybe a push of a button and a bit of time to write out an email to re-engage the list. Something that could bring in thousands of dollars, could bring in hundreds of dollars, one of those clients could bring in a $100,000 job for you. You just don't know. So the list is very, very powerful. So that's that's the why list building is so crucial for your business. What I want to go in through now is the risks of ignoring your list building. And speaking of overlooking this list building, what happens when you don't prioritize it, here's what's at stake. Again, 3 or 4 main points, and I just want to go through these very, very quickly with you again. But the missed opportunities. Number 1, without a list, you're missing out on the chance to re-engage past customers who have already bought from you. They know you, they trust you, and it's like leaving money on the table. I've said this quite often with the psychological value of once people pay you once, they are more likely to pay you 2, 3 times, 4 times. This is why I'm very proactive in and very pro charging for quotes. If I can get a client or a customer to pay for a quote, put their hand in their pocket to either for cash or credit card details and pay for a quote up front, then we've talked about this in other episodes, but I'm more likely to then they want to come back and buy our service because they want to recoup their money for the quote, or B, they've trusted you enough to buy once, they're going to more than likely trust you enough to buy the second time and third time. So that's really, really important. So not having a list is like leaving money on the table. The dependence on unstable platforms. So relying solely on social media or other third-party platforms is risky. Algorithms change, accounts get restricted, and your access to your audience can vanish overnight. Now, we've seen this happen where people have their lists, their accounts shut down. They can't access their accounts. They can't access their people. I recently had an email account shut down that I had a lot of people in. I cannot access it anymore, and I've lost that. And that has probably left a lot of dollars for me personally in my Northcoast Fencing business on the back burner for a little bit, and I have to sort of try and rebuild that list. So without a list, scaling also becomes harder. So you're constantly chasing new leads instead of tapping into an engaged and existing database. So again, people who have bought from you, they know you, they like you, they trust you. And if you've done a good enough job that they do actually keep engaging with you, then you can scale your business a lot harder and a lot quicker because of all the data that you have and the list that you can re-engage continuously. Your list provides valuable insights about your customers' preferences, and ignoring it means you are essentially flying by when it comes to your marketing strategy. So going quickly on that, having a list and having all of that data and that information can paint you a really good picture of where all your money is coming from and your finances are coming from your jobs. So if you've got that list and you're turning over 1,000 emails a year, for example, just building that list out, and your success rate or conversion rate is 50%, 50% of those people, that's half of your list, is giving you the data of where all your money is coming from. Out of that data, you can then make really good financial decisions, and you can really target down on your market and find out which niche specifically in those 500 people, for example, has the money and has the profit rather than just chasing the revenue. You can then really hone into who's making the most, what type of job is making the most money, what type of client is making the most money. And then you can start going, really doubling down on your marketing efforts to find those people. So a story, case study for me is from my business, Northcoast Fencing. For 30 years, I alluded to quickly at the beginning, as since the late 90s, when the emails first came out, we have had continuous emails and clients through our branding, through our marketing efforts and everything else coming to the forefront. The phones are generally always ringing. We do have quiet times, like everybody else, but the thing that I'm trying to get is that for the last 30 years, we have not collected emails. So potentially for my business, and why we get stuck sometimes in scaling the business to a certain size is because we don't have the workforce, we don't have the labour componentry that to take on more work, but we didn't necessarily have the leads coming through all the time. So the phone has been ringing, and that's been great, but it's been a sort of hit and miss up until probably the last 5-6 years, where I really doubled down on how to target properly and what type of information that I was getting to chase the actual profit that I was after. I didn't know this knowledge beforehand, so I was pretty oblivious and ignorant to the fact that a list could change the way I do things. So now I capture the list, we save the list all the time. And as I just alluded to earlier, I lost another list here not long ago, which has taken probably 15 years of data out of my business that can potentially or has potentially lost me thousands, if not millions of dollars that I could have regenerated back again. I know a lot of people are talking about the list building and everything else, and it gets a little bit scary, a little bit daunting because we don't know how to do it, and we're so busy as servicemen building fences and doing things and running crews and doing the stuff that actually brings us the dollar value at the end of a service. But what we're failing to think of quite potentially is that we want to be doing things that move the financial dial forwards at every chance that we can get. So rather than trying to just go out, get the lead, do the job, bring the money in, we want to be chasing the leads that are making the most money, that moves our monetary dial for our business as far forward as it possibly can. Okay, so this is something that has really resonated with me since I lost my list not long ago, and it's really sort of put me on a trajectory to start building my list as quickly as possible again, capturing all the emails, doing what I need to do so we can rebuild what we need to build. Now, I'm not saying it's going to hurt me financially not having that list at the moment, because my phone is ringing a lot. But that has been a branding and a marketing effort over the last 30 years that I've done. The thing is with that now is I'm not running any ads specifically for my business, so I rely on a lot of word of mouth in a local area. But our local area dynamics are changing. So there are a lot of more people coming into the area that actually don't know who I am, don't know what we provide, what service we actually do. So they Google and then they find what fences are in the area. Now, if for some reason I let my SEO drop or my marketing sort of drops down, it pushes me off the front page, and then I don't get those likes or I don't get those leads coming through. So I'm really working hard now on my SEO, keeping myself on the front page of Google, or in the top 3 at least in my local area. And that brings a lot of phone calls in, which means I can then build my list relatively quickly again. So how do we build a list from scratch? And this is quite crucial for you guys who are starting out, or even for you blokes who are wanting to scale and wanting to move forward and not sure which way to go. How do we do it? How do we build a list from scratch? So we've covered the why. Now it's covered. Now it's time for the how. And here's how you can start building a list today, even from scratch. And the first thing is to identify your audience. So first things first, know who you're targeting and what they need. If you're not clear on this, take some time to outline your ideal customer profile. Okay, so find out your target market, narrow it down, really get stuck into that. So then you know who you're going after. That's number one. Number two is create a lead magnet. So offer something valuable in exchange for their contact info. It could be a number of things. It could be a discount. It could be a free guide. It could be an exclusive webinar. It could be a newsletter. It could be something so simple that it could be just a giveaway. I've worked with different clients that have built their lists quickly enough that they can bring in 500 to 1,000 emails in a month. Very much like your flyers or your door hangers that you're putting out to different customers when you're in that area. Very, very, they are lead magnets. The only thing that's happening with that is that you are not gathering their email address until they ring you. So with the lead magnet, throwing it out into a public arena through your social medias and things like that, or to your existing email list if you do have one, you are then re-engaging and bringing back information and emails, phone numbers, and what form you want to sort of put on that. So identify your audience, create a lead magnet. Number three is set up opt-in forms. You can use tools like MailChimp, GetResponse, Go High Level, things like that. ConvertKit, HubSpot you can create easy sign-up forms that you can put on your website or landing pages. So one of the big things I had on my website was just a contact us page. Contact us page brings in their emails, and then you can just use a Zapier, whatever you want to call it, to send that email over to somewhere else into your database where you can keep it. So that's something really easy to do. You can Google up those companies, have a look at. Not all of them are free. Some of them are paying, but my advice is if you have to spend a little bit of money, you actually do the actual work to create that list, and it works a lot better for you. Number four is then promote your offer. So you can share it on your social media. You can run paid ads. You can even partner with influencers in your space. If you're offline, you can use pop-ups or QR codes in your store. You can get Google cards. So people, when they come into your store or when you do the job, you can get them to scan something and leave you a review as well, which I highly recommend. And that actually leaves a lot of information behind. And then you have to engage your subscribers. That's number five. So once they sign up, don't go silent. Send regular emails with useful tips, offers, updates that keep them engaged. So it could be a monthly newsletter, and it could be, if you again have 1,000 people strong in your list, and you then craft a blog or a newsletter. It could be a paper newsletter, and you can scan it in and then just send it to everybody in your list. It is so relatively simple to do that it's not funny. Some people will offer, you might have a free pool gate with every 40 panels board or something like that. And people might jump at that. That may be something so simple. You could be just a newsletter of stating what's happening in your neck of the woods, where you're working at, what you've been working at, your projects you've been doing, your expertise, and that could be one newsletter for the month. Again, something that you're doing, your company's doing, that is beneficial, that you think will be beneficial to your customers and to your list. Number 6 is don't forget to collect emails in real life. So if you're doing workshops, events, flyers, door hangers, put QR codes on them so that they can scan it and fill something out. That's something that could be really, really good. So to get you thinking about that, have you actually thought about what lead magnet you could actually create today? Maybe a frequently asked questions guide or a special discount. Start simple, start with something, take action. You can always refine it later. Better something done now than something not done. Okay, so the quicker you can get it out, the quicker you can start building your list, and you'll find over time the list gets bigger and bigger, and then you'll start to make sales through that. So wrapping it all up, just to sum it all up, the road to consistent and scalable growth starts with building and nurturing your list. So you got to build the list, then you have to nurture it. It's a two-way thing. So the key takeaways: a customer list gives you direct access to your audience. You don't have to share it. Ignoring your list building means you're gambling with your business's future. I have seen this directly from people who have had different businesses, not so much in the fencing industry, but for small startup fencing companies, I have seen them falter because they haven't had a presence. For example, when the pandemic hit, a lot of businesses around my area went belly up. Then we had floods as well that was detrimental, and a lot of people lost a lot of things. When the floods come through and finished, the remaining businesses that were around that could send newsletters out to people who were still available, who needed insurance or needed quotes for their insurance and things like that. We were the first ones on the front force. It was quite interesting to see how many phone calls people were getting. In the immediate first couple of months, it was detrimental. There was nothing because everybody was scrambling. But after that, once things settled down and cleaned up and things started moving around again, the list was what probably saved my business. At that stage, I wasn't actively using a lot of it, but I started bringing and shooting out emails and phone calls to the people I already had on my database, and that pulled us through. And then word of mouth sort of kicked in again, that we were still okay through the floods and we were working and we were fine to kick off. So start small, stay consistent. Your list will grow. It is beneficial. I guarantee you now, it is absolutely crucial for your success and scalability of your business. You might be the best operations manager or operational technician, serviceman in your field, and that is awesome. But without your list, it is crucial that it could stunt your growth. And we talk about word of mouth. You can't scale word of mouth. You can chase ads, you can pay for ads, but one of the cheapest ways to get more work and get people to trust you is by communicating with them, putting them on the list, and then nurturing that relationship, and they will buy from you. So big call to action. Here's your challenge for today. Take the first step, create a simple opt-in form or lead magnet, and start building your list. If you need help or ideas, head over to theprofitablefencer.com to find resources and tips to get you started. Reach out to me personally, DM me, and we can have a chat, and I'll put you on my list, of course, and then we can talk and go from there. And that's a wrap for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, the success of your business starts with the relationships you build along the way. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a fellow business owner or leave a comment on our social media. I'm Simon Davis, and this is A Fencer's Life, Lessons from the Trenches. I'll see you next week.
Thanks again for listening to the Fencer's Life podcast. Be sure to follow on Twitter, Instagram, or the free Facebook group, The Fence Posts. And of course, Simon's personal Facebook, facebook.com/Simon M. Davis 1. And also check out Spotify to get weekly episodes. If you believe Simon can help you make a difference in your fencing business, please reach out to him on Messenger or visit his coaching mentoring site at theprofitablefencer.com. Until then, stay safe and happy fencing.